Welcome in to Philadelphia 76ers Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Sr. NBA All-Star Weekend is officially here, and the Sixers go into the break at third place in the Eastern Conference following a really impressive road win over the Milwaukee Bucks, 123-120, in which Joel Embiid and Giannis were riding the seesaw, exchanging heavyweight blows, and at the end of the day, it was Joel Embiid outdueling Giannis in a battle between two of the most physically imposing players in the NBA. Now, when you look at this game, it's one of the trademark victories for the Philadelphia 76ers this year, considering what happened the other night at the Wells Fargo Center against the rival Boston Celtics. And last night, Philly was paced by the great play of Joel Embiid, the steady presence of Tyrese Maxey, and a very good performance from Tobias Harris. Embiid went off, 42 points, 14 of 21 from the field, looked like the NBA MVP in the process, 11 of 14 from the charity stripe. Tyrese Maxey was fantastic. Perfect at the free throw line, 10 of 10 there at the stripe, 4 of 13 from the field, but really was great in that second quarter once the Sixers were down, helping lead the Sixers on that comeback bid. Finishes the night with 19 points, 0 turnovers when Jrue Holiday was glued on him, and Tobias Harris. The big development for Tobias, especially when we look ahead to the playoffs, he is a mismatch problem when he's playing good basketball because of his physicality when he's going downhill and because of his size. 19 points as the latter portion of this three-headed monster, 9 of 20 from the floor. Some good defense here and there on Khris Middleton. Only went to the free throw line once. I'd like to see him up his aggressiveness, but when he plays like this Sixers team is dangerous without James Harden last night. Now, why I really liked the DNA and the victory for Philadelphia on the road against what I believe to be is the best team in the East, defending that NBA championship, it's the resolve. It's the mental fortitude. And when you're able to kind of flush that bad loss against Boston and come back a couple nights later against the top dog in the East, that is a championship level title DNA type of victory for Philadelphia, establishing some momentum going into the All-Star break. And you know, on the other side of that break, you have James Harden joining Philly. You were able to close on the road in a hostile environment against a team that last year got it done and hoisted the Larry O.B. It was Embiid going up against Giannis Antetokounmpo in a really heavyweight bout, and Embiid was really able to come through with a very good win over Giannis. And look, for him to really just match up well against Giannis, you look ahead at what could be a future playoff series in the Eastern Conference. Embiid matches up well against Giannis, so you kind of figure, okay, if they do meet in a 7-game series at some point in the playoffs, Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, that's a really good matchup that could favor Embiid over the course of a playoff series, although Giannis sometimes is in better shape during that portion of the season. I really like the championship level depth. Furkan Korkmaz got it going from distance. I also really liked how George Niang played. He was really unconscious from deep, and when you have other players step up throughout the course of a big game and a playoff series, that's what can really make a team very dangerous. And as I talked about, Tyrese Maxey in year 2, going up against one of the best guard defenders in the league in Jrue Holiday, turned the basketball over 0 times. Now, when you look at the Eastern Conference standings, everything is so closely contested. Everything is so tight. There really isn't a big gap from the number 1 seeded Miami Heat all the way down when you take a look at the East. I mean, the Miami Heat are atop the standings at number 1 at 38-21, tied with the Chicago Bulls at number 2. With the win, Philadelphia slides up to number 3, but look how closely contested everything is. Philadelphia 3 games back in the win column from Miami. The Milwaukee Bucks are tied with Philadelphia in terms of win-losses. So too are the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Boston Celtics have been red hot. They're 34-26, right in striking distance of realistically claiming that top spot in the East as well. And then you have the Toronto Raptors, Brooklyn Nets, Charlotte Hornets, Atlanta Hawks all in the mix too. So really, when you look ahead to the playoffs, a good team in the East is going to get bounced early. And so often, some of these first-round playoff series, they're over in 4, 5, 6 games, I think some of these playoff series could go the distance, and we're going to get some really intriguing and fascinating matchups in the opening round of the playoffs, and a good team is going to get sent packing. It really all comes down to matchups, and that's why I'm a little bit concerned for Philadelphia. Let's say they have to face a Milwaukee Bucks in the first round, a Miami Heat, a Boston Celtics. That series could go the distance, and it could be decided by a couple of bounces, and yeah, don't tell me about that quadruple bounce from Kawhi Leonard back in 2019, still in shambles. Where do you think the Sixers rank in the East right now? You can give me a number figure in terms of their seeding in the comment section, but either way, I want to hear from you, Philadelphia. Here at Chat Sports, we're all about the audience interaction, all about the audience engagement. It's a stacked East. Where do you think the Sixers fall? You let me know in the comment section down below. Also, this is why you subscribe to Philadelphia 76ers Now by Chat Sports, as I, Philadelphia's own, is bringing you the latest Sixers news and rumors. We launched the channel over the summer. We're growing like crazy. We have you covered with all things Sixers, so if you like our videos, hit that subscribe button so you get more videos like this, because more subs equals more videos and more content from us here at Chat Sports. Joel Embiid, I think, is the front runner for NBA MVP, and you almost don't want to see a break in action for him because he has the momentum on his side, and really it's been that way since December. He has been playing such high-level basketball. It really is extraordinary. He said this after the game: "I'm playing at such a high level, I don't want to stop. I want to keep going. I really feel good. I'm not just going to not work and take a couple of days off," because he can't really. He's going to have to take a flight to Cleveland. He's going to partake in NBA All-Star Weekend activities, and he was the number 1 pick from Kevin Durant to be an All-Star starter. So really, what a win it was for Philadelphia. Coming up on the other side, we're going to talk about James Harden, but really, James Harden, Joel Embiid really have the Sixers in a fascinating position right now with Embiid healthy, with him playing this way, with him really dominating Cats. Anything is possible for the Philadelphia 76ers this year. Doc Rivers saying, our goal to win a championship this year. And for Daryl Morey, that was the goal in trading away Ben Simmons to get back James Harden, because you're trying to maximize your title contention window right now. And you can do that with the way that Embiid has been balling out. Season averages going into the All-Star break, better than last year when he finished runner-up to the Joker in NBA MVP voting. I think right now, he is the bona fide NBA MVP, averaging nearly 30 points per game as he's leading all NBA players in scoring, 11 rebounds per, shooting nearly 50% from the floor and almost 37% from distance. Last year, in my opinion, was his best year of his NBA career. He's overtaken that this year with his dominant play. Embiid, the NBA MVP, is he? You let me know in the comments section. Why for yes and for no? I think the Joker is there. Ja Morant in that conversation. DeMar DeRozan has been playing very well. But I think at the end of the day, it's Embiid on top of all those Cats. Now we'll talk about James Harden coming up here momentarily, but first, before he makes his debut, which will come right after the All-Star break, we'll probably be doing a watch party for it here on the channel, given the response we got the other day, live play-by-play, taking down some beers with Philadelphia. Get your James Harden jerseys now before he makes that debut. Available thanks to our friends at Fanatics for just $75. Head to chatsports.com/Harden for that deal to apply. I'll put that link in the comment section as well as the description of this video. Keith Pompey, Philadelphia Inquirer, about the arrival of James Harden and the early impact of the beard. The retort coming out of Brooklyn would lead you to believe that James Harden was a bad teammate at the end of his tenure with the Nets. But now, coming to the Philadelphia 76ers, he's been the complete opposite. They'll tell you that Harden has been a welcome addition and a positive influence on his teammates. James Harden, in his introductory press conference, said as much. He didn't want to be in Brooklyn. He wanted to be with the Philadelphia 76ers, and this is the destination that he wanted to be at all along, even going back to last year prior to him getting traded to the Brooklyn Nets. And he was miserable with Brooklyn for a couple of reasons. How he was being used, the ongoing drama with Kyrie Irving, the lingering issues for Kevin Durant, and oftentimes we don't really factor this in, that athletes are people. And you as a person, me as a person, if we're miserable at work, sometimes that brings out the best in you. And sometimes your coworkers will look at you and say, bad attitude, bad body language. But when you're angry, when you're miserable, when you're unhappy, it's hard to kind of reverse that misfortune and walk around as though you're a happy dude. And James Harden wasn't happy with the situation in Brooklyn. Sometimes that's just human nature. Doc Rivers, on Harden traveling with the team, said this: he just thought that the more time with the guys, the more time on the floor would be beneficial to the squad. I mean, yesterday he went hard in practice in Milwaukee. Because of that, all the young guys had their hardest practice, going by their pucks. They ran more Wednesday than they did the whole year. That's because they were watching James flying up and down. That's huge. Also, going back to that conversation about being miserable at work and that translating to your attitude and your body language, sometimes when you get a new job where you feel as though you are welcome, you are appreciated, you are valued, you get a new lease on life. You get rejuvenated. You get re-energized. You get excited, and you're happy to be there. And sometimes that attitude, that energy is contagious already in the early going. That's been contagious for Harden's teammates. He wants to be in Philadelphia. That's bringing the best out of him. And that excitement with Harden, Embiid, Doc, this entire team can be felt all across Philadelphia, because this is the best opportunity that the Sixers have to win an NBA championship, maybe since last year, but if not last year, going back to the early 2000s when Allen Iverson was at his prime, because right now you have two players in the NBA who are top 10 when Harden is playing well, top 15 if you get a fraction of what you got with the Beard in Houston. This team's dangerous right now. Now, am I concerned about the fit? Am I concerned about the flow of the offense? For sure. I think the Sixers are going to miss the floor spacing and the playmaking ability of Seth Curry. Already with Brooklyn, he's been good, and he bailed the Sixers out a bunch of times at the end of games and at the end of shot clocks with his ability to bail you out by just draining a three. And sometimes with Harden, it's a lot of one-on-one ISO ball with a lot of guys floating around the perimeter. I think he's going to change his game and adjust it a little bit to pair up alongside Joel Embiid, and I think he has to take the back seat to Embiid and let Embiid be the go-to guy and Harden play second fiddle. I think that's what's going to happen. At least that's what I hope. Did you like the Harden trade? Some think it's a clunky fit because he's played with a lot of rim-running bigs who he throws alley-oops to. Embiid is not that guy, and you lose Seth Curry. You lose some shooting around Harden and Embiid. Type L for like, D for dislike. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for making what we do fun and making the show a part of your day. Have a great weekend, and we appreciate you.